Hello, it's Dr. Brian McDonough. Welcome to the Dr. Brian McDonough Show. Today we're talking basketball. You may have noticed the world of undergraduate basketball is changing. Players are being paid due to name, image, and likeness, and the whole world of basketball's on its ear. This is me, believe it or not, more than 4 decades ago as a basketball announcer. That was the first thing I ever did in broadcasting was I announced basketball games for our college radio station at LaSalle. I remember that day specifically because LaSalle beat Notre Dame and a place called the Palestra was filled. Those memories are memories that I treasure. I remember the way basketball was played back then, and I remember how exciting it was to watch undergraduate collegiate sport. The reason I'm talking about this largely is because of my brother, my guest, Bill McDonough, who has had a 50-year, in fact, more than 50-year Hall of Fame career as a basketball player, coach, administrator, and basically has dedicated his life to the sport. And I wanted to get his perspective, what he thought about where basketball was and where it's going. This is part one of a two-part series. I will also have writer Mike Jensen, who is really nationally known, and he's won just about every writing award. He's going to be our guest in part two of this series, looking at college basketball, where we've been and where we're going. I hope you enjoy it.
Those 3 nights a week, the best teams in the country are playing. But the Big Five started really in the era right after Tom Golo, and he won the championship at LaSalle and moved on. And I guess the history is that an athletic director, I believe he was with Temple, said the 5 of us are playing all over the country. We should play together, save on travel, and thus became the best thing of this type in the country. No other city has a Big Five. Calvin Murphy was great because I think he may have had 50-some in the game once when they were playing Villanova from Niagara. But you had such tremendous rivalries of Big Five opponents from their league. St. Bonaventure when they had Lanier, when there was a Big Five game at the Palestra, was when the kids started bringing signs, and then streamers when the first basket was made and the game had to be stopped and it would take 5 minutes. And this got to be known all across the country. What are those people doing in Philly? But it kind of like made a niche for itself that these clubs, if you're going to play an opponent, play one of the Big Five teams at the Palestra, and that's an experience. And truly, when they came in, they heard the Hawk will never die over and over and over until the Hawk finally beat you. Well, I was to get the games on television and then find the advertising for the games. We had events during the game to keep the fans excited and interested. We had special nights, just like they do at the Phillies games, to entice people to come. And after a while, that wasn't as needed. The real reason was that Temple and Villanova had to play the 4 Big Five games along with their leagues, which were tremendously difficult. And those league teams didn't have those 4 games, so it was easier for them to get into the tournament than Villanova or Temple. So there was probably annoyance that, we're in this great league and we have another league, which is great. The Big East are getting a television contract, and then the Big Ten getting one, and then all of a sudden the game got to be much more known. But in the 60s, truly, there was I think it was a Christmas classic, and 8 teams would come and play, and it was just phenomenal. Maybe 2 Big Five teams and 6 teams from outside. And, St. John's wasn't in the league then. They'd come in. Wichita State would come in. Oklahoma, big-time opponents. And every game was a nail-biter, always double overtimes. And, when it was 10 degrees outside, it was about 95 inside the Palestra. A friend of mine said something to me this morning, Bill Bradshaw, Brian, he said, green, follow the green. And he clearly means it's all money.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are money.
Yeah.
I pray that we can really have college sports. I'm not an NBA fan, even though I watch the games. To me, normally, almost all the time you watch a college basketball game or football game or baseball, the effort is perfect. If that gets to be affected, then we won't care about going to see the college basketball anymore. And as long as there's effort, the whole, I mean, even, when Duke lost, even the games this year, those kids were all being paid and they were all played to the nth degree. So if it somehow can stay that way, then they'll still have a good market share.